In this lesson, we'll begin rigging the eyebrows. There are a few ways we can approach our brow rig. We could always work with pose morphs. That way we get the exact shapes we want. I prefer a more flexible control rig in that we can transform each control however we'd like and create expressions that way. So that being said, what we'll do is add a few extra joints along the brow. Now remember, the eyebrow mesh is going to be tied to our skin deformations a different way. But one step at a time, let's go ahead and get started by heading over to our layer manager. We'll go ahead and unlock the mesh and head over to point mode. So now it's just a matter of creating a joint along our selected points on this mesh. So that speeds this process up a bit. You can follow my lead here. What we're basically doing is creating a joint for each section. So we'll create a total of 4. Create one at the inner part of the brow. With that selected, we'll head over to Character, Conversion, and choose Selection to Joints. So there's one. Let's go ahead and do this again. Select the following point, skipping over the next point to the right. Again, we'll use our Selection to Joints tool. Feel free to separate this menu, as we'll be using this a few more times. And there's just one more. All right, beautiful. So we have 4 joints now. Let's go ahead and close out this menu and start to adjust these. With them all selected, we could head over to the Attributes Manager. Underneath the Object tab, under our Bone drop-down, let's go ahead and set the size to Custom and bring this down quite a bit to about 0.4. All right, that works out very well. And the orientation is ideal, so we're good to go. What we'll do at this point is just go in and rename these. So starting from the one that is at the inner part, we'll go ahead and name that A, and we'll end at D. So that's going to be BN L brow underscore A01. Let's go ahead and copy the name. And that will be B, C, and D. All right, we know that we will add these to the skin, so let's go ahead and add them to our bones layer. And later we'll want to make sure to add it to the selection object list. All right, so once that's taken care of, we can go ahead and find the selection object. Let's go ahead and scroll. There it is. Just going to our object list, we could always lock this down. It might make it a little bit easier to select all of these and just add them to our list here. Great. Okay, so unlocking this, the next step is to have these all parented to the upper jaw. All right, so there's the upper jaw. We're going to just scroll down a bit and collapse a few of our hierarchies. We'll go ahead and find that joint. So I'll go ahead and, with these selected, just drag them inside of the upper jaw. Now when we do that, watch what happens. For one, you can see that we have each joint now visibly connected to the upper jaw, and also the size has increased just slightly. So to fix the size with them still selected, we now need to go to our joint drop-down. Let's go ahead and set the size here to custom and bring this to about 0.4. Now as far as this visual distraction that the joints create, what we could do is use groups to still keep them parented, but to remove this bone connection that we've created after parenting to this jawbone. All right, so let's go ahead and create groups for each of these. Again, we could use a hotkey Alt-G. We'll go ahead and set the display to none. And then for the name of the joint, it's simply going to be NDRV followed by the joint's name. So I'll just paste that in. So I'll go ahead and pause the video and create groups for the rest of these. Again, I'll go ahead and make sure to hide the group and rename it. Okay, so let's take a look here. All groups have been renamed and hidden. And you'll see that if we were to go into the upper jaw and start to move that, let's go ahead and do that from our control object. As we start to rotate, you can see that our brow joints follow. Okay, great. So the next step is to go ahead and mirror these across. And then at that point, we can go in and make sure that their transforms are frozen. All right, so let's go ahead and grab each brow joints group and head over to our mirror tool. Our settings should be fine, so let's go ahead and choose mirror. That saves us plenty of time. Enjoy working with this tool very much. If we were to scroll down, you can see that the joint objects have also been added to their layer, so that's good. So let's now go in and select each of those groups. Just freeze them. Okay, so that should be all of them. I'll choose Freeze Transform. You can see that we need to do the same thing for our joint objects. Are we done with this value of -360? However, since it is 360, what we could always do is zero the joint out. It hasn't been tied to our skin just yet, and everything else is zeroed. So you could always just go to the joint and set that to 0 instead of using the Freeze Transform tool. Okay, so just go through and check the others. And again, we're just zeroing out the heading axis. Just 2 more here, we'll be good to go. All right, beautiful. Well, now that we've created our brow joints, that finishes this lesson. So in the next lesson, we'll go ahead and skin these.